Hey guys, welcome to my first ever budgeting video. This is going to be me setting up the month of August, but since this is my first video, I'm just gonna do a little bit of overview about like my financial situation, what you can expect from these videos, all that jazz. So first of all, I'm using this notebook, don't mind my light, from the Happy Planner, and I bought the budget kind of like extension pack. And so that's where the monthly is from. I have these month at a glance, which I will probably never be sharing because it just has like all of the numbers, all the real stuff, bill pay checklists, expense trackers, and then this notebook paper came with the notebook, and that's where I'm going to be doing a lot of my budgeting as well. Secondly, just so you know a little bit about me, I used to be able to say a recent college grad, which I still kind of am. I graduated from college in 2018, so it really hasn't been that long, but I do have a full-time job and I do still live with my parents, so that kind of affects my financial situation because I am able to be financially independent, but I don't have the bills that necessarily everybody else does. A couple things that I'm not going to be sharing. I'm not going to share how much money I make, and I'm not going to share how much I have in savings or how much I put into savings every month. And then some of like the bigger expenses that I have, I may not give exact numbers, but I will be putting stuff down. So that's kind of what you can expect from these videos, but let's go ahead and get started. The other thing is I am obviously talking through live right now. Okay, sorry, had to get those out without showing everything. I am obviously talking live right now. There may be parts that are sped up. I don't know if they will have a voiceover or if they'll just be sped up with some music. It all kind of depends. My goal in general is to have these videos not be sped up and all be real time, but because I'm still figuring this out, figuring out what I want to do, how I want to do it, it's very possible that I will just speed things up so that you guys aren't sitting there with me for 20 minutes trying to figure out what I'm doing. Today we're going to be using this little like monthly budget kit from the Planning Dancer. She doesn't sell these in her shop, but she does make them for herself every month. So she took kind of what she makes for herself and tweaked it a little bit to work for me, which was so super sweet of her. So let's go ahead and just start putting this stuff down, and then I'll pull out like the other stickers that I have and all that jazz. So we'll start with just the headers. Me trying to line things up is like sometimes a joke. A little bit long, so I'm gonna cut that off. You guys are allowed to see this. This is like my bill tracker kind of thing. That's another kind of fun thing we can talk about is bills. My definition of a bill is probably a lot different from other people's definitions. And basically that just means I count any time I owe money on a regular basis as a bill. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these down, but I'm gonna grab my tweezers. So that counts like subscription services. Really that's like the main thing that I pay for right now. I do pay for sorry, maybe I should do this before. I do pay for my portion of our cell phone bill, my health insurance, my car insurance, Netflix is like linked to my parents' credit card, so I do pay them for that, and all of that comes out of like one lump payment that I make to my parents every single month. So you won't see that in the different bills that I mark. I mark one bill every month, and I just call it insurance, but it's that like money that I pay my parents for a lot of my kind of like expenses. To be honest with you, I don't even remember everything that's in there. She could totally be like bamboozling me for my money. I really don't think that's happening. But that's most of kind of what's in there. So I am going to speed up this part with the numbers because I don't have enough to say, and it's probably going to get a wee bit boring. Okay, so I made a really funky decision if you didn't notice already, but August starts on a Saturday, and so all of this space is unused, and I could only get to the 29th. Well, I didn't want to like divide these two boxes in half like a lot of monthly kind of spreads do, because then I didn't feel like I had enough room to mark stuff. So I put them up here at the top of the month. Probably super weird, but since this ends on Saturday, then this is a Sunday and that's a Monday. You know, there's a reason everybody's planners are their own planners, and I'm not making this for someone else to use, because you just have to do what works for you, and I think that works for me. Okay, I trimmed the headers just a bit. They just had the tiniest bit of overhang, which doesn't bother me, except I didn't want it to like stick to stuff. So now the like days that aren't in the month are also going to be a little weird because I cut stuff. And these boxes are a little bit differently sized than the Erin Condren, but if I kind of center it and just make it look like a washi strip, it truly doesn't bother me. Grab my slice tool and just cut off this last little bit. And in the future, I may end up not talking through this part, just because hopefully once I feel like I have this down a little bit, this part will be mostly like the same. I'm just trying this out, so it's very possible that almost everything's different next month. I just have to like figure out what works for me. So I do have these paydays. I get paid every other week, so some months I have 3 paydays, some months I only have 2. This month is a 2 payday month, and I get paid on the 13th and the 17th. I'm just gonna put that like, should I put it up there? Should I? Yeah, I'm just gonna layer it the slightest bit. Did I say the 13th and the 17th? If I did, I meant the 13th and the 27th. I don't know why I would get paid twice in the month, like a couple days apart. So those are my paydays. And then I want to mark my like bills, and we already talked about why bills has quotes around them. So I'm gonna pull out, I have these bill dues by Sarah Elizabeth Prince, and I'm gonna maybe use like these top 4 colors, or maybe just these. Yeah, I'm gonna use those top 3 just to mark like my quote-unquote bills. On the first, I have Patreon, and these are not made for any kind of monthly view. They're made for, I believe, the standard like weekly view in the Erin Condren, so they're not gonna fit perfectly, but it does not bother me. So I'm going to write Patreon in here, and I give $5 to 2 different people on Patreon. So I need a smaller pen. This is going super well. I'm great at this. So that comes to $10.07. Next I have 2 on the 7th, and that is Spotify and Dash Pass, like for DoorDash. I normally don't get Dash Pass, like I had never been signed up for it in the past, but with the pandemic and how often we end up just getting food delivered, it really does save a ton of money. You know, some restaurants' delivery fee on DoorDash is like $5 or $6, and we definitely DoorDash more than twice a month, so it ends up kind of paying for itself. So Dash Pass is $9.99, and Spotify is $10.74. I gave up on writing $ because I just don't have small enough handwriting. Okay, and then on the 8th, I pay for a New York Times subscription. I went to school for journalism, and I really appreciate kind of paying for my news that I consume, and I also am a elderly woman, and I really like the crosswords, and I do them almost every day. So that's just $4. Then we have, like I said, on the, well, I don't know if I said this, but the insurance bill that I talk about, that just kind of bundles everything I owe my parents, I always just make it due on my first payday of the month. My mom's probably watching this right now and being like, yeah, you're super consistent with that, but it's at the very least a reminder. And like I said, I'm just not going to write in that total. On the 14th, I have Hulu, and my Hulu and Disney Plus numbers are like really funky because I did like the bundle, but since I pay for no commercial Hulu, I think it ended up being a little more expensive than like, what am I doing? The normal bundle. That's upsetting. I don't like to waste stickers, but that made me mad. I started writing the bill amount in where I was supposed to write Hulu. Okay, so like I was saying, it ended up being like a little bit more, I think. So I paid $12.89 a month for Hulu. On the 21st, all my bills are on this side. On the 21st, I pay for my like Nintendo online subscription. so that I can play with all my Animal Crossing friends. And that is $4.29. On the 22nd is when Disney Plus comes out. Oops. I'm like overestimating how off these fit. So Disney Plus. And I pay $7.53 for that. In the future, if you guys want me to like fill these out beforehand and then just like put them down during the video, I totally understand. This is probably super boring. And then my last one is iCloud, which is only 99 cents. But like I said, I just look at this as being, oh, that's not the right color. I look at this as being aware anytime either money is coming out of my account or I owe money on a regular basis. It doesn't matter how small. Obviously, this is only 99 cents. But the rest of what I track is like deliberate spending. Like I find something, I'm like, I want to buy that. And I do, or, you know, whatever. So this helps me know when certain like payments are coming up. And there we go. So that is very heavy on this side, but that's okay. I have these little like credit card reminders from the Coffee Monsters Co. I put just a reminder to pay my credit card. I don't have credit card debt, and I treat my credit card pretty much like a debit card where I only put things on my credit card that I've already budgeted for. But I just need that reminder to go in and pay the balance, because otherwise it'll only put like $10 towards it or whatever. So that goes there. Okay, next I'm going to make my key, and I was able to put all of my like expenses into 3 main categories. When I go in and do my actual like budget, I use the EveryDollar app. It's Dave Ramsey's app if you're familiar with it. And I have a lot more like little subcategories where I actually set like this is how much I'm allowed to have for that. But all of those subcategories I was able to break up into 3 main categories. So all of my expenses are going to be put on these labels and broken up into those categories. So I don't know if I'm going to keep the colors consistent. Right now I just kind of chose the colors that I thought looked best with this kit. So I'll probably switch up the colors month by month, but keep the categories the same. So the first category I'm going to use is spending, and that kind of encapsulates a lot. So spending is any kind of like fun money I spend, like back before the world was ending, when I'm not just write key on here, even though I'm gonna know what that is. You know, if I went to the movies or did anything like that, any kind of like shopping type money, like clothes or stickers, any gifts, or I this month incorporated like a charity budget into my budget so that I could make sure that I'm giving every single month. So that goes under spending. Basically that's the spending category. Then we have food, which has its own category because it's like my most frequent thing to purchase probably. So that's if I go to the grocery store and get food, if I eat out, if I get something delivered, anything like that goes under food. And then the last one is adulting. So I consider adulting to be anything I have to purchase because I'm an adult, basically. So gas, any kind of car maintenance, any kind of like medical expenses, so like co-pays for appointments, prescriptions, all that kind of stuff is adulting. So that is my key. And that's all that I know that I want in the sidebar for right now. I may decide there's something else I want to mark there. The only other thing I want for this view is I want something to mark to remind me to transfer money into my savings. I transfer a portion of each paycheck. And so I would put that on these 2 days, but I don't exactly know how I want to mark that. Okay, I'm gonna work on getting stickers for that next month because I really just didn't find anything in my collection that I felt like made sense. So for now, I'm just gonna write in like a little checkbox and write in savings. So then when I transfer money into my savings account, I can check that off. Okay, so there's that. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Don't sneeze. I sneezed. Okay, so there's that. I have my bill pay, which is only taking up one sheet, but I don't want to take this out because I'm probably going to use the expense tracker. This is where I'm going to write literally every expense I have. This category is going to be the more like descriptive category I talked about having in my EveryDollar app. So instead of like fun, it'll be like clothes, if that makes sense. And that way I can track like each individual category. But I will do my weekly check-in, and that will be just checking in with those 3 categories I'm tracking. Okay, good Lord, who is ready for voiceover Carrie? I know I am. I'm a lot more interesting when I'm not focusing really hard on putting sticky pieces of paper onto not sticky pieces of paper. So I'm just going to voice over the rest of this and kind of walk you guys through how I set this up. So I'm going through and doing all my notes pages right now, and I'm kind of just putting down this bit of washi, and that is going to be for my sinking funds. I'm kind of annoyed that the paper I got has that little like purple strip because it's kind of harsh in the vibe on the lemons, but that's okay. So using the sinking funds little titles from Jordan, and then I'm kind of going in and just marking in like my category, like all of the kind of headers. So this is a good time to talk about sinking funds because I do them super weird. So to me, and this is not any kind of official anything, but to me, a sinking fund is something that I know I'm paying, I know the amount, I know when it's due, but it's kind of a hefty chunk of change, and I only pay for it like once a year. So, for instance, I pay for a full year of FabFitFun, I pay for a full year of Grammarly because I am a writer. So I just split those up, divide them by 12, and put that money back every month so that I can I have that money saved when I pay it. It's not like a big hit to my account. So I did put a transaction log. I don't think I'm actually going to be pulling from any of those sinking funds this month, but I do think that next month I will maybe start to do other kinds of funds that aren't just those super specific amounts, because girl just got hit with her bill for the eye doctor and contacts, and it would have really been nice to have a fund to pull from for that. So we'll see. Something to think about for next month. This next page I'm definitely changing next month. I started this page as my income. I get paid, like I said earlier, I think in this video, either 2 times or 3 times a month. So I put this whole page to write down the amounts for 2 paychecks. Now, I am expecting some tax return money, which I would count that as income. Every once in a while I dog sit and I get income that way, but generally I just do not need a full page. So I think I'm actually going to end up putting it at the bottom of this weekly check-in because I do have room, especially on the 4-week months. So I'm working on that page now if you don't have eyeballs, or if your eyeballs don't work. Mine don't work very well, hence the eye doctor bill. But I'm moving down the little week one and putting my like headers up there because I didn't want to rewrite it for every single week. And I'm kind of just doing a really like sloppy job, but that's okay. We live and we learn. So I went in and put those little dividers in to divide up all of my weeks. And that's where you can see, like, I do have that kind of big chunk at the bottom that I really could write income there and save a page. So just kind of dividing those sections out, and that's pretty much it. That's this month. So it's messy, it's real, I probably should have done a whole month before filming to really kind of figure it out, but if you guys did stick with me through this and watch all of it, thank you so much. I just hit 300 subscribers and I am so excited. But I will catch you guys in my next video if you stick around. Bye.